Good morning, everyone. Welcome once again to Spinistry Live. I am your race host, Kevin Lee, and we are in beautiful downtown Valley View, Texas, scouting out the 2020 Texas Chainring Massacre 100K main route. That's what we're verifying right now. Have a special guest along for the ride today. Our good friend and occasional drinking buddy, Mr. Ron Wadley from Insurance for Texans. Please tell everyone hello, Ron.
What's up, folks? A little overcast today, but it should be a good time.
This is our traditional staging spot where we line everybody up. We do have an audio only version, but if you have a chance, pick up
in
our
1
YouTube
1/4 miles,
version,
turn left.
which will show our dash cam the whole way. Ron and I are we're gonna shoot the shit while we're checking out the route.
We're good at that,
and we do that quite a bit. It is, well, I think they open at 11, but we haven't stopped by Whiskey Hollow just yet. There's a greater than 0 chance that we will stop by at the end, though. I feel an old-fashioned coming on, but I could be mistaken.
I'll go more than greater than 0.
But again, everyone, welcome back to Spinistry Live. We're glad you're joining us. We're pretty darned excited about what's coming up here in about 10 days or so. It looks like we're going to easily have our largest event ever of any kind in Spinistry land, which that's pretty darned exciting. Because I mean, obviously you're a business owner, Ron, so
Yep.
I mean, growth is important. There's no doubt about that.
Growth is very important.
But that's not we don't do our stuff specifically to, hey, let's make it bigger. I'm really happy with just things growing naturally, so to speak, kind of an organic growth thing, because I think it means you're doing something right.
It does, and it's really kind of impressive to say that after what happened 2 years ago, when you had a surprise visitor for this event that blew it up, just because that visitor was put out there in the public sphere, when none other than Mr. Armstrong showed up for this event and raced it.
Yeah, Lance Armstrong showing up definitely, it took us to a different level awareness. There's no doubt about that, and that brings up a good point. We're on Lee Road right now, so we start on Lee Road and we finish on Armstrong
In 1/4 mile,
Road.
turn left.
The way that this is routed. It was very cool to have Lance Armstrong out here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But it was also problematic's not the right word. It just put a different spin on things, a different dynamic.
Turn left on I-35 frontage road.
I'll be perfectly honest, I was not completely comfortable with
Logistics
at that
changed.
time. I'm sorry?
Logistics changed.
Logistics changed distinctly. We definitely shifted from a North Texas event to maybe not a true nationwide event, but a multi-state regional event in awareness at that point.
In a 1/2 mile, turn
The
left.
event itself had always, we built the Texas Chainring Massacre. This was our one gravel grinder that was targeted towards the racing crowd to begin with. It was a request after we did our first Red River Riot that, hey, that's kind of cool, but could you put something together that's a little bit more focused on the racing thing? And that's how the Texas Chainring Massacre came about to begin with. And we've always kind of kept this one. This is our race. We have a racing element to all of our events.
Turn left, signs for I-35N.
This old man still shows up and just rides and not races.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not racer only, though.
Sure.
That's definitely a balancing act on our part.
In a 1/4 mile, turn left.
So everything we've done so far, I'm expecting to do as a neutral rollout. and just kind of steadily upping the pace of the.
Yeah, the bridge here will thin some folks out too.
Yeah. So I come up this bridge, 20 miles an hour or so, and I'm thinking we'll probably have a true lead pack split out from everybody about that point.
I'll rock it off the back for you.
They appreciate it. And encourage anyone else that's back there to, hey, let's just hang out.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll stash a
Turn
cooler
left on
somewhere for you
I-35
guys to
frontage
find.
road.
That works.
I might let you pick a spot along the way. It's like, hey, Kevin, just leave us a cooler here. I could probably do that. Yeah, so...
Yeah, so to say that this is the biggest ever,
In a quarter mile, turn left.
after some of the things that have gone on like that, that's pretty impressive.
That was definitely a shift in this event as far as who was aware it was out here and why.
Turn left onto Hockley Creek Road.
We had a good Texas crowd prior to that. We had a pretty good Oklahoma crowd. A few Louisiana people were coming. But this really, we bring down a bunch of Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri.
They want to get out of that cold.
That's understandable. Some Colorado folks are coming down.
Road.
So this will be
In
our
2.5
first
miles, turn right.
gravel section. I actually laid this out the other way, and I looked at it some more. It's like, I think we need to reverse what I originally laid out. So there's one farm to market road section I want to verify that it's longer, and that's going around that bridge,
The
washed out bridge. There's no doubt that created problems for our original plan, but I think we're going to be okay. I'm really digging this course because it lets us bring back Wade Road, which we haven't been able to do for a while, which that'll be cool. So this isn't a bad little first gravel section here.
No. Get a little climb there to get the heat in the legs so you can tear off down this hill.
So were you here that year that Lance was here?
Yeah,
I thought you were.
Yeah, I was here that year.
So you've been to a bunch of our events prior to that one.
Yeah.
So you were kind of familiar with what our vibe was like before and during. From a participant's perspective, was it a noticeable difference in the way things were going on, or the people that were there? Was it just business as usual?
Well, there was definitely a buzz at the start line because you got a, former pro racer. So there was definitely a buzz at the start that I don't know that you could ever recapture without spending big money to bring somebody like that in.
That ain't happening.
He showed up of his own free will, right? So, but after we got rolling, and then once we got back to the finish line, the vibe was preserved, and that ultimately speaks to the folks who participate. Because I'm not going out and rolling many charity rides on the road, if any at all anymore, or any of the mountain bike races or anything. But the gravel crowd is still the cool folks that I can relate to, at least, as I ride on my steel road bike and carry on conversations, or gravel bike and carry on conversations with people. So
no, I agree completely, and that's probably been our biggest struggle with the Chainring Massacre. I think all of our other events, people are still, hey, it's the traditional gravel vibe where it's 80% of the, if not more, of the people that are there. They're not there to try to get a podium or ride at the front. They want to go out and have a good time. And hey, if they knock off 100K, their first 100K of the year or something like that, that's a heck of an achievement for them. That sort of thing.
It's okay to get lost sometimes.
It happens,
It's happened to me.
It's happened
more than
to me.
once.
The Chainring Massacre, the numbers shift. It's not. It doesn't flip flop. It doesn't go to 80% racer oriented by any stretch. But we're probably up there in that 35 to 40% range,
Yeah.
where people are pretty serious about the racing aspect of it. The first few years of that, I felt like I was constantly trying to explain to traditional road racers that this is gravel, it's different. Deal with it. But I think we're well past that point now. I think some of the traditional road racers, that's always been one of my favorite parts about this event. And Lance was one of them, actually,
In a quarter
when he
mile,
finished.
turn right.
I've had other national and world level amateur champions and things like that they finish this course and they'll say, this is the most fun I've had on a bicycle in 20 years.
It's going back to being a kid, right?
Exactly.
You got on your bike and you rode it wherever you needed to go, and if that was down a gravel road, hey, that's cool. I might wreck.
Turn right onto FM 2071.
All right, this is one turn I want to check out because we'll still have a pretty big crowd here.
Yeah,
this isn't a busy road, but
it is paved.
It is paved. It is high speed, but yeah, it's got a good line of sight.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
I'm thinking I'm going to have a moto or two helping us out. I might have one parked there as the big crowd comes through.
That's not a terrible idea. I'm sure there'll be a nice southerly wind to
Turn right onto Crawl
blow in
Road.
your face right here.
And see, we're not even on it for a half mile. So.
Yeah, no, it's a good short spot right there.
New culvert there. Hopefully we don't have a blown out road or anything. Looks like they're just doing some excavation right here.
Yeah.
So
Caution, unpaved road.
obviously weather played a factor on this event
In 2
already.
and a quarter
and we're
miles,
still 10
turn
days
left.
away.
Sure.
We're having to alter the planned course tremendously because the weather. You're an insurance guy.
Only by day.
I know, I get, but so, the stuff like we had this weekend, the weather that blew through this weekend, does that make your life hectic and busy, or is it?
It does. So I see Pete Delkus start talking about big clouds and high winds and hail, and I start kind of twitching a little bit and get a little triggered, because ultimately we're here to help folks clean those messes up. That's the point, right?
Right.
You buy a piece of paper, you don't really know what it is until you're into a situation. So we spend the next few days after an event like that helping folks figure out, do I file a claim, do I not file a claim, do I have enough damage, do I have any damage? Because pea-sized hail, quite frankly, on a roof that's less than, say, 5 years old, just didn't get to do a whole lot of damage. And I say that as it's fallen on my own. One of the things that we love to do when we help folks like that is to get them in contact with trustable contractors that can get up on a roof and evaluate it and say, yeah, there is damage here, we do need to make a claim. No, we're going to replace 3 shingles, charge you $100, and never tell the insurance company. And so that makes our lives a little hectic, but in the end, that's the whole point of what we do.
I can unfortunately speak from personal experience along those lines. Unfortunately, much too recently as well, but
we're sorting a Jeep out. It's all good. I
look
see
at
an
that.
arrow. Where did that come from?
Where did that come from? At least that got blown in the wind sideways, and I missed
it's
it last
pointing
time.
into the hay bales. It's not so good.
Every once in a while, I do leave one behind as an Easter egg, and on purpose. I don't think that was an on purpose one. I think that's when we were coming up from the other way, and it got blown sideways, so I didn't see it. Most likely, but I'll put that to work when I come out and mark the course. That's for sure.
Yeah, this is a nice long stretch here. Given the amount of rain we've had in the last week, it's in good shape too.
Actually, rain is one of the best things for our routes, generally speaking. Generally speaking. Obviously, when it washes out a road side by side or takes out a bridge, that's less than ideal.
Big rain's bad.
Yeah. Like going back to what we were talking about, where you're helping folks. I mean, that's been a big deal for me. I'm not one of those people. I don't want to deal with this insurance crap, but unfortunately, it pops up, and you never know when it's going to pop up, and it does make all the difference in the world when. And I'll be honest with you. Well, you know this, but I'm being honest to the audience. We had an issue over the weekend, and just the dealing with the insurance company part of it it's not been awful, but less than ideal. But I get it. It's the way corporate America does work.
Yeah.
And just being able to give you a call while you're drip drying after your workout and go, hey, what's going on here? And then you just kind of walk me through it works like this. It's okay. You do this and everything's that makes a big difference. It really does.
Yeah, you got me after 90 minutes on the spin bike / trainer. So I was a little oxygen deprived, which made that conversation a little fun. But because we see enough claims and we deal with the various companies, because we do represent lots of different companies, and not all of them are equal. Some of them are very monolithic and subscribe to Lean Six Sigma and
in a quarter mile turn left.
Their processes, they can't veer from the process to take care of your unique circumstances that existed on Saturday when you're 200 miles from home and you're on private property, you're in a camper, and you got a vehicle that needs to be towed. That's not on their play sheet. So how do we learn to navigate that?
Turn left onto North Pecan Trail.
We also understand that there are other companies that can handle that very well. The flip side is they tend to cost a little more. So which of those pieces is more important to the individual than just trying to fit them in a box? Because that's what a lot of the online stuff is done.
In 3/4 mile, turn right.
Don't put baby in a corner.
Never put baby in a corner. And this is a fun stretch right here, even though it's semi-paved.
They call it paved.
Yeah.
That's a loose interpretation of it.
For those of you that are running the skinnier tires, be warned, you can have some problems through here.
I am, yeah. I'm one of those. Whenever people ask me what size tires do you recommend, bigger is always better.
You got 2.2s that'll fit on that?
Go for it, exactly. Yeah, I am definitely one of those that I advocate 40 plus for almost anything. It's even more enjoyable on chip seal with 40 plus tires, and let alone gravel.
The older I get, the more my butt needs cushion.
Oh, this is new.
This is. Huh.
In a 1/4 mile, turn right.
I guess Valley View is growing. Uh-oh, what do we got here?
Road closed.
And this is why we scout.
I wonder if that's looks to be semi-permanent.
Turn right onto East Obick Street.
Maybe.
Let's see what this looks like.
Yeah, they got a pretty big cutout there.
2 backhoes going to town down there.
That could be done in 10 days.
It could.
Yeah, we're off course because we're scouting.
Got a good trailer there. Couple of them.
Yeah. I tell you what, that whole camper shopping experience. I'm not looking forward to ever having to do that again.
In a 1/4 mile,
I know
turn
I
left.
will. Oh, hey, we got bonus gravel.
With flaggers and everything. This is text dot.
Yep.
I don't count on 10 days with text dot.
No, this is not. But you can usually count on
Saturday being free.
being open.
That's right. Yeah, speaking of campers, you got one. Is it listed for sale yet?
I think it's sold.
Oh, nice.
I think it is sold via private message.
Awesome.
We have a verbal agreement. Does this guy know we're here?
Passing while he's on the other side of the cone.
Turn left on I-35 frontage road.
This looks like a high-tech operation.
I did it that way because we actually crossed those railroad tracks twice.
In 3/4 mile, turn right.
And fairly active rail line.
Yeah, can definitely present a challenge.
So I figured, well, if we have a railroad interference, I want it to be on the front end of the course as opposed to the tail end of the course.
That's fair.
And if I have to send somebody up here to block an intersection to neutralize it and let everyone regroup because of a train, I'm going to do that because it's my event. I can do what I want to.
Yeah, you've traditionally gone south out of town and come back north.
Yeah,
So-
trying a little bit different.
Early headwinds are better than late headwinds, I'm just saying.
Weather is always a factor. I'm just saying. So
In a 1/4 mile, turn right.
We never know where the winds are which direction the winds are going to be coming from. We can always go with what's prevailing, and every time we do that, every time we build a course around what's
Turn
supposed
right
to be
onto Easy
prevailing
Street.
winds at any time of the year, time of the day, in that time of the year, they always go, oh, we're just going to do completely the opposite this time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
But then so the way we're going kind of takes us back
To the traditional
more
stuff.
of the traditional stuff.
Turn left on I-35 frontage road, signs for I-35S.
Yeah, this looks familiar.
Yep. This is kind of the traditional start here. But
In a
what
half
we've
mile, turn right.
run into more than once, even though so when we're bringing that opening pack, a straight shot from town, 300 riders. I mean, there's more riders than that total, but like we're right
In a
now
1/4 mile, turn
for
right.
our premier event, the 100K. We're just in that one. We have over 300 people registered for that. And those are racers that are racing the 100K.
Turn right on
So to get all them in one
248.
pack, even on a neutral rollout, to try to make this hard right-hand turn.
It is a hard right.
That
Looks like it's a little rough too.
it looks like I do believe the creek overflowed back there.
Yeah.
Caution, unpaved road.
Well, thank you.
Big
Appreciate
tires.
that heads
Big
up.
tires.
In 2 3/4 miles, turn
the
left.
good news about this hill is that it thins folks out again.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna. I'm looking forward to starting it this way. I think it's gonna give. I mean, we don't traditionally have a whole lot of spectators, but when we do have spectators, they're either there at the very beginning or the very end.
They can catch both.
They can catch both, and I mean, so the riders will be coming right by town, within a few minutes of the start.
Yeah, for sure.
So folks can hang out there at the railroad track intersection, or come there at the creek crossing, but just behind us, and just to get a glimpse of what folks are up to. So I think there's some potential there.
I may shove a beer in my back jersey pocket.
Like I said, for you, you see a spot you want a cooler, let me know. I'll stash one there for you. Because
doesn't exist anymore because you can't get up Tres Cuevas, but race that one single speed. B-Thor, the Rev.
The Rev.
Handed me a beer as I was coming down off the final mountain and was able to drink it while crossing the finish line.
There you go.
That was a fun time.
We condone those sort of activities. So yeah,
that's why I do gravel.
We support beer hand-ups, beer finishes. Bicycles and dogs are allowed on the podiums and actually encouraged. We don't need podium girls though. There's no point in that. Oh, hey buddies!
Good looking puppy dogs.
Yes,
right there.
y'all doing a good job. Y'all doing a good job.
Oh, we got one inside the fence too. What is that? That'll be a good spot. Speed some folks up.
Mm-hmm. Hit bull intervals, even though it's great beer. Traditionally, that's take a right-hand turn there too. People have missed that one in the past because they just see this long straight shot and they want to keep
put
going.
their head down. Yeah.
So this year we're going to give it to them that way, assuming all of our scouting works out the way we have planned.
Yeah, it's a good long.
And we can definitely see where the weather's done some stuff around here. Not bad.
It's
Definitely.
a little chunky there.
My guess is there will be a stretch of brand new chunk gravel here by the time we race on the 25th. So yeah, we're back to probably bigger tires are going to be better because that's probably a half mile there of chunk gravel by then. That's one of the things. Everyone. So, what are road conditions like? I have no idea. What do you mean? It's like
It's gravel.
It can vary tremendously from week to week, day to day, hour to hour. The weather and county maintenance schedules and the combination of the two, just there's no way to know for certain. Now, one thing I do know is that none of our roads are going to be mud roads. They're all hard pack rock
gravel.
Yeah, rock-based roads. We don't do. There may be an occasional super short stretch. I don't think I have any mapped out on this one. We'll come across it if we do, but there's no unimproved double track or anything like that. This is all going to be
In a quarter mile, turn left.
rock-based roads, and even in the pouring rain,
You can still ride.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I remember the first event of yours I ever did up on the net, and I got lost, and I rolled through a long section of 2-inch water and mud. That was good times.
Oh, that was yeah.
I didn't care, but
That stuff around Farmersville, Merritt, and Celeste.
Turn left onto Co Road 200.
That's not some of our most favorite stuff.
It was fun.
In 1 1/4 miles, turn left.
So we're about 15 miles in. Now this is what I have mapped out is a long 100K. So I think it's about 69 miles.
It's bonus miles.
Bonus miles. I will not
For free.
I will not charge extra for.
Yeah, you didn't charge extra for that. They should be happy. It's kind of like overtime in a football game.
Been a good year for football.
It has.
Not if you're a Cowboys fan, but
Or a Texans fan.
I
had to get that dig in.
Yeah, just fascinating football this year, pro and college. Well, one thing I knew for certain, Tigers were going to win last night.
finished with 67 points in the game. You know what the over-under was in Vegas? 67.5. These guys, it's crazy how they do that.
Analytics, man. Analytics.
It's changing everything. It's changing auto insurance.
I bet it is.
They want to track you.
I'm about to say,
It's coming.
how far are we away from that being like a mandated thing you have to do, or it's just
Probably
an
3 to
expected?
5 years. It's pretty close. Companies have all been doing it for a discount the last 2 to 4 years.
So are they going to just reverse the model and say if you don't do it, you pay more, or
In
they're
a
just going to
quarter
make
mile,
everybody
turn
do
left.
it? How's that going to work?
They're probably just going to make everybody do it, because it's largely becoming done by an app on a phone anyway. So the plug-and-play devices into the vehicle dash are being discarded in favor of the apps.
Turn left onto Metz Road.
And so there'll probably be a surcharge if you decline it, rather than a discount for accepting it.
Right.
Because the ultimate reason, it's gonna be a nice house. The ultimate reason is that this is kind of ugly.
Yeah,
I like
sure
it.
is. Well, if you're gonna, it's another one of our paved in air quotes roads.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be an interesting turn. Right
It
there.
really is.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
When we go to ask questions about your driving activity, everybody lies. We just know that.
Sure.
So my favorite story on that front is I asked a young lady, it's now several years ago, do you have any tickets? Do you have any accidents?
Turn
Anything
right
on
onto
your
Home
record I
Road.
need to know about? No, there's nothing. So I said, all right. So one of the things that she didn't realize, and a lot of people don't, is your driving record is stored in a central database and it always gets checked before a policy is issued. So I go to hit the button and check her reports, and she'd had a DUI like 4 months earlier. And she didn't understand why her price tripled.
In 1 1/4 miles, turn right.
So because of that kind of behavior and that mindset, this will be interesting right through here.
Yeah.
This kind of washboard chunky stuff.
We don't have any washboard or headwinds on any of our routes.
And for that, I continue to drink.
Look how wet the fields still
Yeah,
are.
no, there's a lot of rain up here. So the people drive way more miles than they ever admit to on an application. People, they say, oh, I'm a good driver. The reality is they think they're, Jeff Gordon, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing sort of mentality. And so as the numbers don't lie, right? The fact that you actually have a 25-mile one-way commute to your office through 635 in Dallas, the data collection gives that away. So the reality is the company can actually better price good risk versus bad risk, because that's what it ultimately boils down to.
Do you think that they're gonna better define good risk versus bad risk, or different level?
Absolutely.
So
because there are the unicorns out there that drive 200 miles a day and haven't had a wreck in 6 years, and they still drive 85 miles an hour. That unicorn does exist, but the reality is the data of it doesn't support that being the case. That's a nice little dip right there. You get the trees over the top there.
This is going to be an interesting little route.
Racers aren't going to like this.
They're going to love it.
Well,
They're going to love it.
the really, really fast
In a quarter
guys
mile,
on
turn
skinny
right.
tires are not.
Well, skinny tires never work.
I know.
I try to tell everyone that. Skinny tires are not the way to go.
For those of us enjoying ourselves, it's
Skinny,
a great section.
yeah. So skinny tires with tubes
We got a couple more dogs over there.
are a bad idea. They should be fat tires and tubeless.
Fat tires make the rocket world go
Turn
round.
right onto Lois Road West.
This is I'm digging this route.
Yeah.
This is going to be different.
This will definitely be different, but that's a great stretch right there.
In a quarter mile, continue straight.
So, and anyone that's watching the YouTube video, don't try to figure this out. We'll get the routes out to everybody in proper timing. We don't send them out too far in advance. This past weekend's weather is a perfect example of why we don't.
Continue on to Gregory Road.
It's almost guaranteed that between the time we rough out a route and the event actually takes place, it's almost guaranteed that something's going to come up that's going to affect the route, and we're going to have to change it. A bridge gets washed out. That's what happened this past weekend. And it's not...
In 1 1/4 miles, turn left.
It's not as simple as that reroute we did in town there where, we just go over 1 block and we're fine. When you're out on these country roads, if you have a spine road that's washed out, you may have to do a 20 or 30 mile detour to try to get back to where you were.
Goats.
And if it's only a 65 mile route to begin with, well, you've just turned it into a 100 mile route, so that doesn't work. So we typically don't send out our conceptual routes ahead of time or post those because we know there's likely to be at least a minor change. And we have learned the hard way over the years that even if we explicitly tell everyone, hey, this is a preliminary route, please be aware that things could and are very likely to change. We will send out final routes the week of the event. Whenever we've done that, half the field shows up with the preliminary route loaded on their Garmin devices, and it's our fault that they're off course and the arrows don't line up with what they downloaded 3 months ago, even though we've told everyone repeatedly in every medium possible that the route has changed. Now that is the one thing about this route so far. We have definitely all right angle turns, but I knew that's always going to be the case here. Until we get on the other side of the FM road, we're in a grid. That's a new one.
There is a ton of new construction out here.
In a half mile, turn
That's interesting.
It's kind of a modern...
I kind of like it. I kind of hate. So
yeah, it's a modern take on a farmhouse, I guess. A little Frank Lloyd Wright meets the prairie or something.
Oh, I get to go by my, not to dwell on bad economic times and how people have to do desperate things during those times. But man, I missed some opportunities out here.
Buying land out here.
In a quarter mile,
we're gonna
turn
go
left.
by this property that I should have just gobbled up. It's like,
yeah,
it would have been worth the stretch to do everything just to make it happen. It was just such a cool old place, and I believe at the time it was just such a ridiculously cheap price. I mean, it had to have been a hardship case.
Turn left to stay on Cash's Mill Road.
It's impressive how inexpensively some things were sold 12 years ago, 11 years ago, 10 years ago.
It was, I mean, realistically, it was 6 years, up to 6 years ago.
In 1 1/4 miles, turn right.
2013, 2014, that's actually when it was stupid.
Yeah.
Cheap.
I bought my house in 12, so yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, but when it turned over on, there was no, we're going to ease back up.
No, it took off.
Yeah. It's like, we're going to make up all that lost ground now.
Yeah, for sure. Which county tax assessor figured that out too.
Yeah, they sure did.
Good gosh.
Don't remind me of that.
Here's a plug for you to protest your taxes every year.
And we do every year.
And if you still can't get your escrow down, call me. We'll lower your insurance rates.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now I'm gonna throw in the gratuitous plug, and that's not what this conversation is supposed to be about. But oh my God, the amount of money you saved us a few months back.
It's good times.
That's no. It was not. I mean, it ended up being the perfect storm.
Yeah, it was a perfect.
I know I was frustrating you because I hadn't switched yet, and this and that, but it was like
the timing of that was a perfect storm, and it worked out.
It worked out
in your favor,
the way it really should have.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was like
it's not always a perfect storm, but when it is, it's kind of fun. For me.
Yeah, that was like you had a new provider available to you that really lined up with what our needs
In a
were.
quarter mile, turn right.
At the same time, our existing provider, who I was essentially happy with, but they decided now it's time to take advantage of this multi-year relationship and basically double your price for no good reason.
So we're back to numbers don't lie. If you experience
turn right onto Chisholm Road.
From a pure mathematics standpoint, if you experience a 15% rate increase every year, when you get to the end of 5 years, your price will have doubled.
Yeah.
So I mean that's basically how it works out.
I'm glad we're scouting. The more I see this, I mean, obviously when I heard that bridge was washed out, I knew there was water up this way, and Grapevine Lake's going up, and Knob Hills is flooded again, and all that good stuff. So, I mean, yeah, we were down south, and
in 9.5 miles,
I was watching
turn right.
the radar up here. I knew it was a good bit of wet, but
this is pretty. There's a lot of water fell last weekend. The problem with that line, that was a line of storms that basically just kept going north instead of. It usually flows east to west, west to east.
So the line just kept going over the same areas over and over and over.
Yeah. So you drop a lot of water. This is good here. Yeah, like it's.
Wow, I have never seen this creek with this much water.
Well, and you can tell it was up over the banks over here too.
So this is Clear Creek, which for years never had a drop of water in it.
Yeah, that was flash flood last weekend.
And I've never seen it flowing like that. And this is, we're 4 days past those rains.
Here's your public safety announcement, kids. Turn around, don't drown.
Turn around, don't drown. Don't play with it. And that's something we never do. And that's another reason that we don't release the routes ahead of time, because we had a chainring massacre. I want to say it was 14, somewhere around there. And we had 4 inches of rain.
Yeah.
The night.
I didn't ride that one, but I remember that.
The night before.
Standing water out here.
I've never seen water like this here.
I guarantee you, this was underwater last weekend.
The night before, we had 4 inches of rain just on top of the whole route, which I knew for the roads themselves was going to be fine, because it was like 6 or 8 hours until we started. So the roads, they weren't a muddy mess, but it was all the low water crossings that I knew the water was going to be just going to be raging. And we actually shortened. I think we shortened everything to a 50-miler that year, because there were 2 low water crossings that I wasn't going to send people over. And everybody already had them on their GPSs, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna just follow the GPS." All of it be damned. It's like
standing water.
Yeah, I've never seen this water here like this before. I'm kind of concerned what we're going to run into further down the road, but we'll find out.
Maybe we'll see it.
But a couple of those people did decide to do the long route on their own, and then they turned around when they realized what a raging low water crossing, how much water that really is.
Good looking horses over there.
I'm surprised surprised how wet this still is. Did they get more rain here the last day or so?
I want to say that they may have had some low-level stuff this morning. It's been a moist morning.
Oh, there you go with that word. You know how many people hate the word moist? I'm not one of them.
I mean,
It's kind of in line with, I think the percentages are about the same as people that hate cilantro.
yeah, but people are weird. Let's be real. I'm weird. We all have those things.
We are a bunch of weirdos. That's why we do this stuff. Here we go.
As my wife says, people are people.
Looks like they might have given Wade Road some love since the weekend.
Sure looks like it. But that was underwater too, man. There's still water flowing there. That's impressive.
Oh my gracious! If Wade's like this all the way through, I can't
fast.
I can't see that it will be, but this will be interesting.
This will be real fast.
Let's see what we run into. They've definitely done some work out here, though.
Yeah, they bladed it not too long ago.
Since the weekend.
You blow your skinny tires before you get here, but this will be skinny tires right here.
Well,
Until we get to this.
until we get to the rollers,
True.
and then people will
When it all breaks loose.
swoop down that roller at speed and catch that transition back up the other one, and that's when everybody gets the rear flat tire.
Not me. I just keep plowing.
Oh, it's nice to be coming back to Wade Road. We got a truck coming from the other direction, so that helps me think that we're good all the way through.
Some of the best views right out here.
Yes, it is.
Make sure you're staying in your heart rate zone 3 so you can take them in.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely did some work out here.
Yeah, there's still a lot of water in these crossings.
And they're building out here too. I'll be damned.
Those look fairly sizable too.
This may be our last trip through Wade Road. Everything else around here and up to this point is gone from what we used to use on our routes.
It's getting built up for sure.
And it's been difficult to get to Wade Road for the past few years.
Real estate for sale. This one's fun right here.
This is good stuff.
Going down at speed, low pucker factor,
Single lane bridge.
video surveillance.
Yeah, right.
Just be careful when you pee.
Oh yeah, that washed out really nice.
Yeah,
Wow,
they
that's
get a nice little
blown out.
Yeah. They got a lot of water.
They sure did. We used to do, so as our dirt roads were transitioning to paved, and we still kind of included Wade Road back then in our Hell of the North Texas, which was more of a, at that time, more of a semi-gravel grinder, semi-paved route was kind of the concept, because we were trying to keep it close to DFW, but we were losing the gravel roads. We had that one year, may have been 14 as well, now that I think about it. 14 or 15, I think. Just all the big flooding, and Denton Creek was just absolutely crazy flooded for most of the year, and we tried to, I mean, we still ended up doing Hell of North Texas, but we had to just completely go let a different route from anything we'd ever done before.
Yeah.
I think that was actually the year we just turned it into a true gravel grinder at that point and moved to a different location. But we kind of missed some of our crumb roads and going out to Greenwood and
Good construction here too.
yep, and the grasslands. All that used to be some fun. What we thought were dirt roads all to ourselves that nobody else used, but they paved every single one of them. Darn it.
All those people keep moving here.
I tell you what. Somebody posted an article yesterday. I think maybe I saw it on the Dorba Facebook page. Somewhere. Maybe it might have been posted 20 times. It was like DFW population from like 2012 to now grew almost 2 million.
That's not surprising.
And they expect that same another 2 million by 2025 sort of thing.
Again, that's not a surprising number. Nice little climb here. So I landed in Dallas Fort Worth in the summer of '97, and I think at that time the estimates were like 3.5, 4 million.
Sounds about right.
And we're now at what, 7.5?
I don't
Ish,
even. I don't even know. It's like,
We got wet here.
a little bit. Oh, that was deeper than it looked.
Yeah, it's. I'm gonna say it again. It's still moist through here.
Tell you what. Rollers are gonna be. Yeah, they had to redo this one.
Yeah, this will thin some folks out. This is still kind of soft. I can feel it. Yeah. Could be some people cussing you right there.
I was about to say, when Jan rides along with me on these scouting trips, she'll just look at me and start shaking her head right there. She'll go, "You love this, and they're gonna hate you."
Yeah, I'll cuss you for it when I get back, but it'll be all right.
And then you'll give me a hug when you get there.
Of course. Rub all my sweat off on you. It's only fair.
We'll take it. Wow.
This is still fresh right here.
Yeah, I'm about to say they might be doing this now.
That's entirely possible.
We'll see. See what the rollers bring us at the bottom of the rollers up here. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, this is
good stuff. It'll be dry in 10 days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Get 14 inches of rain in the next 10 days.
Yeah, this is all new field here.
Yeah. It's in great shape though.
Yep.
Especially considering what we've seen water-wise and some of these ditches and dry creeks and culverts. Again, you get the phenomenal views here to the side.
This is.
Stop, catch your breath right here, drink a beer, take it all in.
Yep.
Then keep rolling.
That's what
That's a great spot.
I'll stow a cooler right there for you.
That's
right?
a great spot.
I will stow your cooler right there. So anyone that's watching this video, you know where the cooler will be stowed.
Yeah, that's a wonderful spot.
I got a feeling. Yeah, I got a feeling our friends at Bell's Brewing will be more than happy to
make that happen.
Accommodate an empty cooler and turn it into a full cooler for us.
Oddly enough, they're working on the road.
Who'd have thunk? Who would have thunk? That's a brand new grader.
That is,
That's like a brand new. I don't even know. It may not have even been fired up yet. That's a
Groveville Airport.
It's not a cheap gate.
No. Yep. Fat tires.
Yep.
Fat tires.
Fat tires.
Fat tires. Yeah, they're gonna be cussing you up this hill too.
They're gonna love it. going to come back
It's okay.
sticking dollar bills in my waistband. Give us more.
Wow, that's a visual I could have done without today. Not gonna lie. Of course, I did that to you on Saturday when you called me. I was like, "Yeah, I'm about to get in the shower."
Yeah.
So I guess we're even. I think he's waiting on you, or else he's taking a nap before he goes and joins his buddies down there.
So that was the
Yeah,
crossing I was concerned about, but that was still intact. So
very much so.
Wade Road should be in the mix.
This is the road that goes on forever.
Which we haven't used in the Chainring Massacre in quite a while, though. So actually, this is probably maybe half the crowd, if not more. Might be their first exposure to Wade Road.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting. It's a good one. I'm glad we get to use it again. It's one of my favorite things about these routes. I call them my Bob Ross happy little accidents.
Yeah.
You know, well, something went wrong over here. Well, we'll
Use this road.
make some lemonade. It's all good.
Just make it into a happy little tree.
Yep.
Yes. Just down here on the prairie.
And that's what's cool about this route. It ends up with so many just little unique sections that are
Yeah.
completely, once we get over to the valley, that's just a completely different thing than this, and
For sure.
what's right there at the start at Valley View. But yeah, Wade Road's going to throw some folks off that haven't done that before. They're used to Chainring Massacre being almost a completely flat route.
Yeah, Wade Road is not flat. At all.
And trust me on this one, people, don't run low pressure and tubes on Wade Road. And if you are, do not have your butt in the saddle when you hit the bottom of the transition. If you don't know how to equalize your weight on the pedals, figure it out soon. Oh, here we go. Wow. I've never seen this end of Wade smooth like this. Is almost always chunk gravel.
You could do a pretty good clip down this.
Tell you what.
Spot right here. It's not going to be as fast as that hill down in front of RH, but
I might have to hang out there and take pictures, or send somebody there to take
set up
pictures.
some video.
Because my guess is this is where the race will be won. They'll split it up at Wade Road, and somebody will just rock it through here.
Somebody will drop the hammer right here.
And if they get 2 or 3 to go with them, it'll be a dash to the end. If they don't, they've got it all to themselves, and pull a Colin Strickland.
Yeah. Somebody's getting dropped on this section.
Yep.
I will have already been dropped, so it won't be me.
Yeah. Wow, I have never seen this smooth like this.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
You got these nice houses out here. They got to get people to and from.
So is it the house that's for sale or the tractor?
Try maybe both.
Oh,
Still got water coming over here.
nice. Never seen flowing water here before.
Note to self, it's still wet. Also known as moist.
Man, this is going to be a fun little route for folks. We're going to get all sorts of adventure out of this
A
one.
little something for everybody at this point.
This has always been a cool little property here.
Yeah. Established in 1858. Huh.
Back in the day, get up here to this intersection. That's a new water crossing there. Barbed wire fence up here on the left after we get to the intersection. It's the first event we had. I think it was a Midnight Massacre way back when. And there were a bunch of coyotes strung up on the fence here. And the Dallas folks,
A little alarmed.
yeah, that caught them off guard. Yeah, they were just strung all the way down that fence. There's probably 8 or 10 of them.
Got standing water there.
Yeah, never seen water there.
Yeah, people, I tell you, coyotes now can actually be a little scary. You know, they've always
They're not shy anymore.
No, we always just kind of considered them docile and whatever, but there's some scary stuff.
In a
now.
quarter mile, continue straight.
They've taken away all their land with all the development. I guess they're finally getting hungry instead of just feeding off the cats.
Well, and they're getting
Continue on to Fortenberry Road.
the crossbreeding with the domesticated dogs. The
Caution, unpaved road.
damn coyotes are getting so big now.
Yeah, they are. They're not just.
People think they're seeing coy
Fortenberry
wolves.
Road turns
We don't
slightly
have
left
coy
and
wolves
becomes
here.
Co Road 398.
We have coyotes that have been crossbreeding with the Great Pyrs and German Shepherds and everything else out there, and they're turning into these big ass coyotes.
Pay attention to that curve, by the way. I'm just saying. We got water.
In 3 miles, turn right.
It's a waterfall. There we go. Here's some adventure.
Definitely some adventure here. Good picture opportunity. Also a good spot for a beer.
This is too easy for everyone to find.
For those keeping score at home.
Interesting little formation.
Yeah, I remember the first time we were out riding and saw a bobcat. Man, you got
Never seen this much water here before either.
this is real soft right here. It'll firm up.
Looks like they had a road closed sign there for a little bit. But it looks like they got washed out.
When your road closed sign gets washed out, you know you got a problem, right?
So far, I haven't seen anything I want to change. Find out here in a bit. Yeah, so realistically, back in the day, all of that pavement that we had been on
was all gravel.
was all gravel.
Yeah.
Every bit of it.
Yeah.
lot more. So it's. But make no mistake, if I lived on one of these dirt roads, I'd want them to pave my road.
I want some chip seal too, for sure.
Holy moly. When people have an opportunity to fly, they are going to fly.
Yes. If you've still got a pack here, somebody's going to attack. It's a little sketch.
I'm gonna take a flyer and say it's gonna be won by somebody with pretty good bike handling skills.
You're going to have to handle for sure.
So,
It bodes well for the mountain
Nice.
bikers.
yeah, if you don't have some mountain biking experience,
Go spend the next 10 days on a trail.
yeah, go hit the trail. Go hit the trail. There we go. Nice little pop-up view.
Yeah, it's good stuff right there. I mean, this is not been here that long, it fits.
No.
Oh, it's a political sign.
They were somewhere in here.
It's still,
Maybe this is it. Yeah, this is it. They opened some kind of event center or...
they're calling it a pavilion. The Betty and Clint Josie Pavilion and the Dixon Water Foundation. Huh. Wonder how big it is.
I don't know. There used to be a few years ago. There was like they had a billboard with an artist rendering, and looked like it was going to be a full-blown event center thing. But man, this road blew out. Look at this.
Yeah. There's a lot of water came down that hill.
I wonder if I bet that was right before that big flood year. I wonder if their plans didn't survive that flood.
Maybe that.
And look at all that water over there.
Yeah. The stock tanks are all full.
I'm just now realizing we're the middle of January.
Yep, we are. We're in short sleeves and crap, you're running the AC, I think.
Yeah, I am. Man, hopefully I didn't just jinx us. We haven't been through this intersection in Leo in a while either. For the past few years, we've always just gone all the way across up here. So since we haven't been using Wade Road, we haven't gone through here in a while. So this will give folks some flashbacks in here.
Valley.
See if the old trestle bridge is still here. So you were talking about your spin bike
Yep.
earlier. You're
In a
doing
quarter
the
mile, turn
Peloton
right.
thing, right?
We are, my family is on the Peloton thing, yes. And honestly, I've been impressed. It's not for everyone. But for middle-aged dudes that own a business and have a family and have a more finite amount of time to get work workouts in.
Turn right onto Co Road 333.
It works really well because like I can do it at 5 o'clock in the morning like I did this morning. Get an hour in. And it's very much heart rate based. But
what do we got going here?
they've done a good job of gamifying the user experience to entice you into their world. And it's a quality piece of equipment. Cleaning something up.
Hopefully they're not on lunch break blocking the road like that.
In 3.5 miles, turn right.
Looks like they're gonna move.
I think they're clearing a culvert.
I think you're right. So riding a spin bike is not riding outdoors. People have to understand the difference and learn to use the difference to their advantage when they get to be outdoors. It's about maintaining fitness. It won't help you handle a course like this.
Sure.
Because there's some unique handling things that you're going to deal with, like this crossing right
that
here.
culvert needs clearing.
Big time. Man. Ultimately, I went down the path of the Peloton rather than going with like Zwift or something like that, simply because my wife uses it too, and the adjustability of a spin bike with saddle positions and heights and handlebar heights and position, like those sort of geometry things, it's much easier for us to manage those differences than it is swapping out my bike versus her bike on a trainer and all that stuff.
I get that.
So it helps me accommodate that purchase more. And I can see the difference in the engine, the power that gets produced from being able to get those workouts in. It allows me, when I do get outside, to truly enjoy my time out because I've got a certain level of fitness.
Now, have you spent any time on a smart trainer with Zwift, or?
I have not.
Okay.
And I know that they have the ability to control the resistance on the smart trainers, and that's one of the differences.
So Peloton doesn't.
You can control the resistance, but you're in control.
So
of it.
it's truly spin bike.
It's truly a spin bike.
Gotcha.
It is.
Okay.
Which is one of the big differences. I looked at. There are a couple of other spin bikes that are out in the marketplace that function more like a smart trainer, and I looked at them. One of them in particular, the reviews that I saw on the equipment itself is that it had a lot of quality issues as far as the functionality that you were buying with respect to that stuff, and so that was ultimately part of the decision. Nice little washed out spot right there that could cause somebody a headache.
Yep. So, and if I'm speaking out of turn or assuming too much, feel free to correct me.
Me? No.
So, real realistically, somebody that's had experience on a spin bike and is comfortable with that is probably going to be comfortable with the Peloton. But if they haven't had that experience yet,
so
maybe check out some spin classes. Or
I mean, it's a reasonably sizable financial commitment. So if you've never been on a spin bike at all, never spent time on a trainer, you know, if you've never done anything like that, I mean, if you just want to plunk down the money, go for it. But it definitely wouldn't hurt to do just some a la carte pay by the class things I mean, there's so many studio choices, and
there's
a lot of
Peloton studios, right?
There's not one in DFW. There are.
Oh, I thought there was.
There are stores where you can go. They have bikes set up where you can go in and test drive them.
Oh my God, this road was completely trashed, and it's only semi-rebuilt.
It's in great. This will be fun, but it will require skill to navigate this climb. Yes, but this was destroyed. So there is a Peloton store at North Park, and there is a Peloton store at Legacy West that I know of for sure. There'll be some folks walk that.
This isn't going to be the flat Texas Chainring Massacre.
No, that section right there will be people walk up that last lip of that hill. Because that was a fairly steep little finish. You're going to get a reward right here, but so in those stores, they have bikes set up. You can go in, you can, you know, they have a membership, you can show up and ride there, or you can test drive them, whatever. The good thing about what Peloton has done for the casual folks, and I know a lot of people that are listening to this probably aren't going to fall into that category, but they actually, in their digital platform, which is kind of what powers the whole thing, they do have shortened beginner classes so that someone could dip their toe and begin to learn and understand how to make it all work. So there, you know, I've read lots of stories through social media channels, whatever, about folks that were, you know, 300 plus pounds. They decided to change their life, and it's always about a lifestyle change, right? But they took that on. This is a fun little downhill right here. They took that on. They bought into changing their diet. They bought into exercising, maybe not every day, but regularly, 4, 5, 6 times a week, and ultimately completely changed their appearance. There's a lot of water running through that creek. So you can build into it, even if you have no experience. And it's my understanding that the competitors in the marketplace are doing a lot of the same things on that front. But I can't speak to them because I'm not really testing them out.
So the workouts that you do, it's essentially a virtual spin class, or?
Yeah, so the way that they're set up, that is wet. You're going to have to get the truck washed. They have a schedule of live classes. So there's the display screen that's mounted in front of the handlebars, and it's nothing more than a giant Android tablet, essentially, that runs their digital software. And so you can stream into a live class that is being taught in their London or New York or San Francisco studios, where there's a real live class going on. But once that class is completed, it then gets archived into their library, and you can pull up through their library through the app. Chicken's got the heater on. Oh, look at that healer. Got a pointer too, man. Those are 2 good looking pups. The platform, the digital platform, then allows you to serve up those classes at any time on demand. So like this morning, I was doing a class that was focused on speed intervals from a cadence standpoint, intermingled with some high resistance to simulate a climb. That's pretty soft. That'll be a fun spot. And they'll, some of the classes are just purely heart rate based as far as zones go. Some of them are focused on power zones. Some of them are classified as low impact, kind of recovery type rides. It's a mixture, so you can mix it up throughout the week. So I'm typically doing it at 5 a.m. and I kind of got a rhythm that I've established with it.
In a quarter mile, turn right.
So I know Sean McAfee does a lot of Zwifting at about 4:30 in the morning. So
some people lovingly refer to him as Zwift Boy.
Zwift Boy. I know he has maintained his fitness and his strength doing it.
He's done a pretty darn good job of it.
Yeah.
Turn right onto Co Road 377.
We're gonna go through here, see if we can find the washed out bridge, because I was actually mistaken which bridge I thought it was. It was one of those areas we went back through there that I thought was the washed out bridge. So let's see what we come across. I'm trying to get it lined up for him to tag along with me for a ride along too, and I want to talk to him about that, because he
has embraced it and it has done great things for him.
They fixed it.
They sure as heck did.
They already fixed it.
It's soft, but that's rideable, man.
Ooh.
That's
It's fixed though. I'm surprised they fixed it that quickly. They never do that. Well, I guess the bridge itself didn't wash out. It was just the
entrance.
The entrance.
Yeah.
That's it. I've already come up with a reroute. All right.
Let's see what I might leave that in there.
Let's see what the reroute's like. Oh, I don't want to turn around there, even with four-wheel drive.
Yeah, you got soft shoulders here.
Yeah. We'll find something decent to turn around.
So,
I do have the traction mats with me this time. I still don't want to break them out if I don't have to.
let's not say we did.
Exactly. Yeah. See, look how much water came down this thing.
Yeah, this was a raging river. Goodness.
But yeah, it's just so yeah. Sean goes. He hadn't been outdoors riding in, I think it was literally months, and he goes out and does like a 300-mile bike packing adventure, in sub-zero temperatures.
I know when we did the Red River Riot last spring, he had been Zwifting all winter, and we got to Windmill Hill, and he absolutely destroyed me. And I went, all right, something's got to change. So, I'm trying to be Sean on a slightly different platform.
And I am definitely a believer in the virtual training. When I had my bicycle to car run-in, and I wasn't able, I was in recovery from that, I did the smart trainer thing for basically 3 months. My knees could turn pedals.
Yep.
But basically I couldn't walk, and anything that involved trying to plant a foot to get off or on a bike or whatever was, that's like, I'm probably going to fall over on my head, sort of thing.
Falling over on the head, as you know, is not a good thing.
Nah, it's less than ideal.
Yeah.
But I basically, trained up to ride the Rat on a virtual trainer for a good chunk after, you know. So I was, I mean, I was off the bike completely for like 5 weeks or so. Lost a vast majority of the fitness I'd built up. So then I went virtual for 3 months after that, and then it was like a month prior to the rat. I got a little bit of outdoor riding in, but it was still mostly the Smart Trainer.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still have all the bikes in the garage.
Yeah.
I still love to use them, but I put a real saddle on the Peloton and not their crappy one.
Okay.
And for those of you that like the padded spin saddles, good for you. My sit bones don't work with those, so I put a real saddle.
Is it safe to assume that their default saddle is probably more female oriented to begin with? Or?
That may be the case. I don't know. It was more about, so one of the things when you first get on a real bike, as we like to insinuate, you think, oh, I need a cushy saddle because my butt's gonna hurt. Right.
In 2.25 miles,
2
turn
weeks
left.
in, you figure out this isn't a great idea, and you're like, how thin can you make it?
Yeah.
Right. So it's that.
Please give me my Brooks saddle.
Yeah. It's that difference. So, I mean, they ship when the bike shows up. It's got pedals on it. I mean, it's legit real pedals. I probably took those off and put some SPDs on it, but that's just me. But all your bike tools still work on it.
You said you were going to wash my truck for me when we got done, right?
Something like that, yeah. I thought we were just going for whiskey. That's all I know.
All right, I'll let you buy me an old fashioned.
Yeah, you know. So, but yeah, no. The cool thing for me personally is I've watched. So my wife's never been like a hardcore cyclist. Mostly because she had an accident 11 years ago where she crashed and had a compression fracture in one of her lumbar vertebrae. And so she's been skittish about the bike ever since. But to watch her embrace doing it consistently and seeing her fitness gains is pretty cool. Because she doesn't have to. It could just be something I do, but she has embraced it. The other thing that they do well, and I don't know if their competitors are as advanced in this, but their digital platform, so since it is an Android tablet, I can cast it to the TV. And so I walked in the other day, and my wife and my 6-year-old were doing a yoga class that was being streamed through the Peloton platform and cast to the TV. And so they were doing that. And my 6-year-old has decided she loves yoga. And so she asked Mom every day, when are we going to do our yoga? So it's instilling good habits in her as well.
Sure.
So there's some good byproducts on both sides of it. Watching the power output numbers, I can see the difference in the progress for sure.
So how long of a workout do you typically do?
So during the week, I will do either 45 or 60 minutes early in the morning. Weather being kind of garbage last Saturday, I went ahead and did 90 minutes. So I did a heart rate zone ride and set right at the top of zone 3 for a solid 75 minutes, pulling pretty good wattage.
In a quarter mile, turn left.
Fins.
And that's a car that needs some love. And was able to get a pretty healthy workout in, even though the weather sucked.
So we've but
But you wind up on the pavement.
yeah, we wind up on the FM road, and that's the main thing. We're scoping here.
Turn left onto FM 51
I
North.
think we end up being on here for 2.5, maybe 3 miles. Yeah, so
If you can go the other way, that's cooler. I think it's got shoulder the whole way though now. Oh wow.
it didn't used to.
Shoulder. Who'd have thunk it?
Smooth shoulder. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I take it back. This might be a cool 2.5 miles.
In 2 3/4 miles, turn left.
2 3/4.
Alright. Bonus quarter mile.
It didn't used to have the shoulder.
I mean, even the chip seal shoulder doesn't look too bad. Just dodge that little possum right there. So one of the things that Spinistry folks have asked me about in the past is insuring their bicycles.
Yes.
So I've come across, so I've got some YouTube video out there talking about what your options are. Put it on your homeowner's policy. Can work, but it comes with some drawbacks, particularly on the deductible. Some of the home insurance companies will let you schedule your bike. Can be cost prohibitive. There's a couple of offerings in the marketplace.
I think I looked into that once. And
Yeah, it can be a little shocking.
yeah.
There are a couple of offerings out there that have true bicycle only insurance that functions like an auto policy that comes with like liability if you cause someone to crash, medical payments, and all these other things. People find that to be cost prohibitive for what it is. So we actually came across a new policy a couple 3 weeks ago. So the way that it works is it's going to be like scheduling it on your homeowner's policy, but it can be done standalone. You don't have to own a home. You don't have to have a renter's policy. It's just you're going to schedule your bike, and as long as your bike value is less than $25,000. So I know there's probably a handful of folks that can top that number, but
I'm not one of them.
I'm not either. You don't have to have an appraisal to get the policy. So that's always been one of the things that people have balked at, is being able to have an appraisal. So unlike the standalone stuff that comes with liability and all this, so you're just insuring the bike. And the cool thing for
Turn left onto Co Road 329.
the cool thing, so my mountain bike is a giant Anthem, and it's carbon fiber. So the purchase price was about, we'll call it $4,000. I don't remember the exact number. So I priced out with this policy
Unpaved road.
what it would be.
In
So
2 3/4 miles, turn right.
for roughly $300 a year, I can insure my mountain bike. And the cool thing, so if it gets stolen, it's covered. For those of you that understand insurance, it's what's known as an open peril policy. So that anything is covered except for their written exclusions. That is soft right there. And the exclusion list is very short. Common wear and tear. So if your bike is old and it's not been maintained,
Right.
that's not going to be replaced, right? But let's say you're out riding one of those funky sections on Wade Road, you go over, your bike gets, crumpled up. That would actually be covered under the policy.
Okay.
So it's not going to protect you from a liability standpoint if you cause someone to wreck. But the other things that typically people are like, well, what if I crash? That's always, most frames are covered under warranty for at least a certain amount of time, but people are worried about crash.
Yeah, not crash replacement.
Yeah, so
So
the policy would actually cover that
covers
as
it.
it's written.
Covers a crash, covers theft.
If it's on the back of your car, because people have talked about problems on that front.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That,
Yeah.
We could do a whole podcast on that one.
Probably multiple hours on that one. So people like to put their bikes on the back of their car now. Some people still use roof racks, but people would run their bike into their garage because they would forget that there was a bike up top. That technically would be covered and not have to be against your homeowner's policy, because what happens if you're the cause of the wreck, you destroy your bike, you got to claim it against your homeowner's policy because it's personal property. It's not covered by the auto. If someone hits you and your bike is on the back, a lot of folks have talked about how the auto insurance companies struggle to cover that piece of it.
They want to depreciate the hitch rack.
Yeah, and
which is ridiculous, and they want to depreciate the bike at a ridiculous rate.
So the way that this thing would work is it's a stated value policy. So if you say your bike is worth $4,000, they will pay out $4,000 as long as you can prove that it's worth $4,000. So if you buy your bike at Walmart and it's a $100 bike,
right,
you can insure it for $4,000, but you're only going to get a $100 Walmart bike back because that's what you can prove. So that's where a bill of sale or an appraisal becomes important, but you don't have to have it to start the policy.
Now, as soft as sections of this are in this truck,
it will be fantastic.
Well, even if they were writing it today, there's plenty of firm line for bikes.
Absolutely.
So, going back though to the bicycle insurance thing, because people have pestered me for years. Pestered isn't the right word, but they know you and I are friends,
right? Right.
They assume I've got something lined up. It's like, you haven't found the right answer just yet. But so I know you don't have your quote tables in front of you or anything.
I absolutely do not. That's why I gave the perspective on my Giant.
So, is it safe to assume that your $4,000 Giant, $300 a year, then an $8,000 something would be $600, or does it not scale like that?
It's not going to be a truly linear scale. So one of the things that's going to factor in as you go down the scale, there's going to be a minimum premium that you're going to pay. So if you have a $2,000 instead of a $4,000, it's not going to be $150. There's going to be a floor that the premium won't go below, no matter what your bike value is.
Gotcha.
Because the company has to make money and put the policy in force. It's just, it's business, right? As you move up, it's not going to necessarily be truly linear because of the way that their rating factors work and the risk. It's harder to, so let's say you've got a Moots, right, that's worth $10K. It's a little harder for that to be replaced, and so sometimes the way they set those tables up for pricing, it may actually could be a little bit higher, it may be a little bit lower. It's not going to be perfect as far as going 300 to 600, but somewhere in there.
Sure, I get it.
Within tolerance.
Just trying to get a ballpark idea in my head how that might look.
So it's.
I think that $4,000 price point's probably
in a quarter mile turn right.
Close to the meat for a big chunk of our audience.
A lot of the bikes are going to be in that $300 to $4,500 range, right?
A lot or more, but a lot or less.
Oh, there's a ton that are less.
Turn right onto Co Road 346.
So it produces an interesting proposition for folks, because when I've told them what the price is to have the policies in the past that are standalone that include the liability, that include
in a quarter mile turn left,
everybody's gone, it's just a little too much.
Right.
So it gets us back into the realm of, okay, this makes sense.
And unfortunately, I can speak from experience that insurance is
turn
pretty
left
handy
onto
at
Co Road
times.
381.
It's a frustration if you never have anything bad happen to you. But when you need it and you got the right stuff in place, it can be an enormous blessing.
Well, I guess
That's what we try to focus on.
yeah. I guess like some of the stuff we've looked at before, particularly on the bicycle side of things, it's like,
In 3/4 mile, turn right.
you know, if basically 3 years of premium buys me a new bike anyway, what's the point?
Yeah, and that's where we were with those other policies, and that gets us out of this now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So, and if you've got a stable of bikes, it might make sense for one or two as opposed to the whole fleet.
The whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's.
Like I've got a Surly steamroller that, single speed, fixed gear. I mean, I can replace it for $700. I'm not going to insure it, right?
Right.
I love the bike.
In a 1/4 mile, turn right.
Its most likely end is me falling over like a pub crawl or something.
Any idea
Turn right onto West Farm to Market Road 922.
if e-bikes are insurable or not through that?
E-bikes would definitely be insurable through it. It's going to fall under the same provisions. It's definitely one of those that the first time we write that as a policy, I'm going to talk directly to an underwriter. I'm not going to just submit it online.
In a 1/2 mile, turn left.
Hope that everything's okay.
Right.
I'm going to make sure that they're putting the appropriate factors against it, so that in the event something does happen, you're made whole in that event.
I'm gonna.
In a 1/4 mile, turn left.
And fair warning to anybody that rides along with me, this is going to be a common theme. Pretty much anyone that rides along with me, I'm going to lob out the e-bike hand grenade and let you run with it. What are your thoughts around
Turn left onto Cemetery
e-bikes?
Road.
So anything that gets people on two wheels, to me, is a great thing. And I know that 15 years from now, when I'm in my early 60s, it might be the difference between being able to do some really cool stuff and not.
In a 1/2 mile, continue straight.
That said, the place where I struggle to reconcile all of the pieces are, say, on local mountain bike trails, where you can have much larger speed discrepancies that can produce
In a 1/4 mile,
problems.
continue straight.
And how do you sort out? It's like being on the highway. You in and of yourself driving 95 miles an hour is not necessarily problematic.
Continue on to
You're
Co Road
doing that on a-
387.
On a highway, you driving 95 and somebody else driving 40 miles an hour below you.
And this is why we're not driving 95.
Yeah, because you might come across a cow. That speed discrepancy is where problems can occur.
In 1 1/4 miles, turn right.
And so sorting that particular issue out is one that I see as problematic, because you're now introducing the ability to go really fast on single track, and that can introduce some unintended consequences.
had a woman at our event in Shelby this past weekend that was on an e-bike, and she rode the 50K route. And she was on an e-bike and literally came in maybe 45 seconds, less than 2 minutes behind the guy that won the 50K.
Okay.
But he kept looking over his shoulder and saw
Saying this isn't fair.
Well, he didn't realize it was an e-bike. He saw a bike coming, so he killed it to maintain his gap. So when he saw this lady come in on an e-bike, at first he wasn't very happy with it.
But then he realized what he had done.
And then he realized the push it gave him.
Right.
But here's where I'm actually pretty psyched about what e-bikes have the potential to bring to the table. He was like, it was just, you know, it's like 5 minutes later, he's like, I need to get my wife one of those so we can ride together.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, it goes back to my statement about the Peloton, right?
Yeah.
Being able to see, you know, your spouse, because
Turn right onto Co Road 320.
In all fairness, you know, I've made trips to Angel Fire in the summer, and that's the whole reason I own a Spot Beacon. Oof. Now, this is interesting right here.
Tell you what, they definitely had some rain.
Yeah. But you know, my wife dropped me on a
In 3/4 miles, turn left.
Forest Service road outside of Angel Fire, drove to Taos and picked me up at the bottom. Well, if she had an e-bike, she might be able to do, you know, some of that with me.
Right.
And that's a, you know, it's a game changer for some folks. All right.
I have been on these roads so many times over the years in so many different conditions, and I have never seen them like this.
It's going to be, so we'll see how much greater activity there is between now and a week from
That'll be interesting.
But,
yeah, anybody that's watching this video, and I don't expect there to be a whole lot of editing on this one, because I want people to see the route.
This is going to be interesting.
I think some of you will be surprised how different it is from
In a quarter
what
mile,
we saw
turn
today
left.
from what it ends up being event day. That's also going to depend upon the weather between now and then. But a lot of this is probably going to be a lot of brand new chunk gravel by then, is my guess. It's going to be an interesting year for the Chainring Massacre.
Yes, sir.
Turn left onto Co Road 323.
I think I'm going to stick with it. Is that closed up there?
Sure
Looks like a blowout up there, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's barrels.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes time for us to buy another car, we'll probably evaluate whether or not we actually buy
In 1 3/4 miles, turn right.
An e-bike might make more sense since my commute's so short to our office.
And that brings up a good point. That's
the applicability outside of what we think of traditional cycling.
Yes.
Just like electric cars have changed things. You know, everybody always asks me, what are you gonna sell when self-driving cars come around? Because you won't be able to insure them anymore. Maybe it's e-bikes.
Maybe it's e-bike insurance, or just e-bikes. I don't know.
Because as those transportation habits change, something like an e-bike with a limited range but an ability to move you quickly.
But then we get into the whole bicycle infrastructure thing.
Oh, don't we? In the middle of a giant metropolitan area with no cohesive strategy. Yeah. Look at all the debris. And there was a lot of water over that. see that rush through right there.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
when the grass is up in the fence like that and the fence is blown over.
The fence is laid over. This was all underwater. And moving water at that.
Moving, yeah. And moving quite briskly.
Yeah.
Here's where it started to slow down up here.
Yeah, the bike infrastructure in DFW, it's gotten so much better. I don't ever want to minimize that fact. But there's so much more that can be done. But I mean, you think about it. If you've got a 30-mile range on an e-bike, if you had the right infrastructure, you could almost go from downtown Dallas to downtown Fort Worth on it.
And the reality is the range on them now is 50 or 60 miles.
Yeah.
And that's just in the past 2 years.
Right.
We've gone from 25, 30 to 50, 60.
And it's continuing to improve. Does that become your commute?
Yeah.
Because
without the infrastructure, I say no.
Yeah.
So where's the tipping point where the infrastructure is?
Well, I think it probably occurs. So there's a finite ability to build lanes on a freeway.
The only way they're going to be able to do it is just convert existing roads to bike-only roads.
Well, or one of the things that's always been plotted but never has
In
never
a quarter
been
mile,
completed
turn right.
is the Trinity vision, basically, for lack of a better word.
The North Texas Council of Governments bike plan or whatever it is.
That basically runs along the levees from Fort Worth to Dallas. Well, that might become a viable
Turn right
path.
onto Tow Road
Oh, okay.
314.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So instead of the turnpike they wanted to build, let's build a
Let's build a bike freeway or whatever.
Right.
Something along those lines.
That kind of makes somewhat more sense. Yeah, get over on your side.
But it's every time it's been proven many times over when you just look at raw data.
In 3.5 miles, turn right.
You build more lanes, it just gets filled in, and the problem's not solved.
Right.
I mean, the Katy Freeway in Houston is a classic example of that. They built, I think it's 75 lanes on each side, and it's still a parking lot. And as we talked earlier in this journey about all the people that have moved to North Texas. Well, as sprawl continues to happen, there's only so many lanes that can be built, but you're also now starting to see new commerce centers spring up. So the shops at Legacy West, Toyota, Start, Frisco, that whole area where the tollway and 121 cross has become its own commerce center. So you can now live and you can in theory e-bike to an office from there. Same thing with Dallas and Fort Worth and parts of Arlington and Grapevine's got its own sort of scene going. You've got these micro centers that are popping up. People can now begin to evaluate, does it make sense to have the cost of a car? Because if you figure the car payment is $400 a month, insurance is another $100 a month, gas is another $100 to $200 a month, maintenance costs are another $50 a month, averaged out over time, we're now encroaching on $750 to $1,000 a month. Does it make sense to live close enough to a micro center where you're working where you can leverage an e-bike?
Sure. And ultimately, I think that'll be the general sort of direction these things kind of go.
As technology in cars continues to increase, the price will eventually become out of range for a lot of things, especially to own two of them.
Right.
When they sit for the majority of their lifespan, it just doesn't make financial sense.
Well, but we're also going to get to the point where people don't have a reason to go anywhere or go fewer places on a less regular basis because, realistically, we've had the capabilities and the technology for a remote work environment for people really for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
But employers are just now getting to the point where they accept that?
Well, I mean, I have 3 folks that work with me, and I'm the only person that's ever in the office.
Yeah.
And I only truly have an office because it's required with some of the companies we work with. Otherwise, I might be just working out of my home.
So the reality is, we're about to get to this shift in the basic dynamic where people there's no reason for them to commute 45 minutes a day, or 45 minutes one way, I should say.
I have straight up told one of the folks that works with me, and some of y'all have interacted with Brad, who handles our commercial insurance. So my office is in Colleyville, close to the airport. He lives in West Fort Worth. He and I are great friends, and I love being able to have him in the office, but I've straight up told him, don't waste an hour and a half or 2 hours in your car when you could be getting stuff done and then being able to spend time with your family.
Yep.
That's dumb. It requires a different mindset from who you work, who's doing the work, because you don't have that onerous clock punching.
Well, that's what's
there's good and bad. This is interesting. It's a little chunky right there.
A little bit. Well, that was
Those skinny tires are gonna pop like balloons.
somebody's gonna lose a rim on that one.
Yeah. Clarence will hook you up with a new one.
Mad Duck. The Cantu cycling wheels.
Yeah, Cantu cycling wheels. Colonels will also hook you up. Rick and Doug can make that happen.
Yeah, I think we're finally getting to the point where management, for lack of a better term, recognizes that it's the remote work environment is actually more productive, because you focus on what's getting done as opposed to
the FaceTime.
Yeah, it's like, why did that person clock out 15 minutes early? Well, they got twice the work done anyone else. What do you care?
Yeah.
In a quarter mile.
And the reality, in our household at least, I mean, Jan and I basically both work out of the house. And she's, when you work in that sort of environment,
Turn right onto Hill Road.
you do them when they need to be done. So, there's things that get done at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's things that get done at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And maybe at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll go for a bike ride or something like that.
So I use the Surface Pro to run my business. This is always one of my favorite spots right here.
Yeah.
Just for no other reason, it's just cool. Little church in the cemetery and stuff.
Continue on to Hill Road 207.
But with my Surface Pro, I've got the docking station and monitors, and so at 8:30 last night, the Surface Pro had the college football championship game on it, and the monitor attached to the docking station had the paperwork that I needed to complete.
In 1 1/4 miles, turn left.
And we made stuff happen. So, it's just the way it is.
It's just about getting things done.
Yeah.
It's the end result that matters. And I think we're finally getting to a work environment for most people that just...
and I'll give a shout out to the much maligned millennials.
Preach.
It's not that they're lazy, it's that they don't understand a punching the clock BS mentality.
Right. You want me to do what?
Yeah.
What?
You need me here because you want to see that I'm in this chair? That doesn't make sense.
Well, we want to make sure that you get your work done. I gave that to you 8 hours ago.
Yeah, and it's you got a couple of crotchety Gen X dudes here talking about how that's a better way to think, and that's one of the things that I've tried to.
I'm actually technically a boomer.
Oh, I forget that you're just enough older than me that you're technically a boomer. I am dead
In a quarter mile, turn
square,
left.
kick it in the nuts, Gen X.
Yeah, I'm so what I think, you know, the common accepted is boomers through
Turn left
64.
onto Co Road 200.
Gen X starts at 65. Well, I'm end of December of 64, so I get the worst of both.
There's some more skinny tires popping right there.
Yeah.
I'll let you be an honorary Gen Xer because I know you're crotchety like me. But it is. It's, you know, there's a lot of things that were done as a result of like the Industrial Revolution that in today's technologically advanced world just don't make sense. And I think as you see technology continue to advance and take away some of those jobs that have always been there that required FaceTime, you're going to see gasoline poured on that fire.
Yes. Yeah. It's
For anybody that's still with us, they're like scratching their head right now going, what?
the only ones that are still with us are the ones that they've probably already muted it. They're just watching the
course.
watching the course now. Where am I going to attack? That's okay.
Well, yeah, that's
Because anyone that listens to this,
they'd be like, man, what did they talk about when they got to the distillery?
the funny part's going to be that anyone that listens to this part and they want to go to our Hill Country Undie, if they use the coupon code Ron is cool at the Hill Country Undie, the first 3 people that do that will actually get a free entry.
Wow, you heard it here first.
But it doesn't count if you tell everyone go to minute whatever it is, 122 of the video and get your coupon code.
I'm not telling. I'm just going to tell them they need to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah, Ron is cool at the Hill Country Undie put on by Chumba Cycles. We'll get you the first 3 people that use that coupon code will get the free entry. And I'm just throwing that out on the fly.
Those Chumba guys they're all right.
They got cool stuff.
They do.
We got a couple of them. And I'm really hoping I can get back on the bike this year.
I remember the first time I rode the Chainring Massacre with you coming up this road. I wanted to punch you in the face.
Not the first time I've heard that. Won't be the last.
Oh, this just gradual uphill slog. And then you realize that the town is still way down there. You're like, come on, man.
Into a headwind.
Into a headwind almost always. Even if it's freezing cold, it's still into a headwind, it seems like. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I hate it.
So, basically, we've got 3 miles to the end of the route here.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards sticking with my reroute and bringing Wade Road back for maybe one last hurrah.
I think whatever you do, you got to use Wade Road. The bridge that's been fixed, the climb,
Yeah.
that's a solid piece of dirt. It'd be tough for me to leave that out, but I understand why you would stick to your reroute.
Well, we still get that climb with that kicker. We get that
that's
big-
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
The turn was after there.
That's right.
So we get that still.
I mean that the road through there where that bridge is really, really cool. However, I can understand and accept why you would change that.
Yeah, so basically what you saw today outside of us going and checking out the bridge that was repaired since Sunday, that's really fast for Cook County. So there must be somebody with some pull that lives below that bridge.
Either that or they heard you were coming.
Hey, Cook County loves us.
I know.
Cook County loves us. They treat us well. Montague County, I'm not so sure about, but Cook County loves us.
Tourist attraction, man. You're bringing commerce to them.
Yeah. I think one of these days we should really sit down with them and maybe put together just one really big shebang. We'll talk about that another time.
Well, that pavilion that we came past back there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, getting to it would be a little bit of a challenge, but depending upon its size, would be really cool staging.
That'll be a totally separate topic, but that's one of the things that we're up against. That's a difficulty of ours. So as the roads get paved over, obviously our routes end up going a little further and further out.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get people to go over an hour's drive away from their home for a weekend event. I mean, if it's a destination event, if it's a big deal, the Red River Riot, Texas, stuff like that.
The part of the reason I love this event is its proximity to my home.
Yeah. This one's easy in and out for everyone. So it's a best of both worlds scenario.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
No, that was the turn.
Why didn't I didn't get my audio cue.
You weren't listening to her, I guess.
Probably. I may have it turned down.
I don't know.
It's all right.
So the next coupon code is Kevin missed his turn.
Kevin missed his turn. Well, there was no arrow there.
Yeah, I remember the first time you routed us out of here. I was like, oh my gosh.
Looks like they've actually even
Paved this.
done something. Well, not paved it, but they've
graded it.
Yeah. It's in the, so far anyway, it's in the best shape I've ever seen this
I was
road.
to say it's in much better shape than it was this time last year when I rode it.
I do like just having this last little tiny bit of dirt rolling into town.
Yeah, and it's usually in such bad shape, it's another kick in the shin. Are just ready to be done.
There is that aspect of it too. I guess I do have a little bit of a sadistic quality, but oh well.
I didn't say it was necessarily completely bad. It does exist.
Oh, that's a new one too.
It sure is. Maybe that's why it got graded.
Could be. Gotta admit, I am a fan of the concept of downsizing.
We've actually talked about doing some of it now that my oldest is out of the house and as far as I can tell, not coming back.
Never say never.
Just the three of us. Now that we lost,
and then sprint finish from here.
That's right. And we lost the super active puppy dog back in the fall. We've talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make sense yet, but we've talked about it for sure.
All right.
Here's the finish line.
And here we are. Did you notice the add-on they're doing to the Firelight Vineyards over there?
I was noticing that before we took off. Yeah,
that's a pretty substantial upgrade.
They're definitely doing good business if they're putting that kind of upgrade in.
Their stuff's good.
I enjoy theirs.
And the Whiskey Hollow stuff is definitely good.
Yeah.
I think I might have to confirm that right about now.
Yeah, we might.
Yeah, there's a parking space right here.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Thank you for joining us for this this edition of Spinistry Live. We have to go do some quality control checks at Whiskey Hollow Distillery, but not too much because we do both have to drive home. Come join us at the Texas Chainring Massacre. I'm going to do everything I can to have this video up within 24 hours of us doing this. We have right at about 150 entries left as I speak. We do expect to sell out. That Ron is Cool coupon code does not apply to the Texas Chainring Massacre. That will be for Hill Country Hyundai only. We'll see y'all on the 25th at TCM.
See ya.